Gordon Smith saying good evening from Denmark. Peter Taylor, good afternoon from New York City. John Emmett is in wet and very windy Weymouth, as you'll see on his video in a few minutes. Paul Homchick, hello from sunny. Yeah, it is a nice day here in San Francisco, Paul. Looks like we've got spring has sort of sprung here.
Yeah.
Chilly, but nonetheless nice. Andrew Pindar, another edition of Countdown. It is the Countdown. Help everybody get sorted. Help us get sorted, too, here in Studio B. As we get ready for yet another show, number 608, and we welcome all of you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to show boy, I'm a lot browner in that shot, in that photo on the graphic. We got to fix that, Julia. I got to get a newer graphic than that.
Yeah.
In any event, who cares? Show number 608 for the 11th, Tuesday, the 11th of April. Welcome to everybody. I trust you had a nice weekend and a nice Easter, Julia.
I did. Did
you come to the Beach Street Yacht Club for dinner?
I had an elegant dinner at the Beach Street Yacht Club.
And you put in a special request for a rack of lamb.
Oh, yes, I did.
The chef here not me, the chef here at the Beach Street Yacht Club cooked you a nice rack of lamb.
They did it. It's overdue.
You prefer lamb over ham?
Not necessarily. I love lamb all the time.
I do too. Hope everybody had a nice Easter. Look at these nice eggs.
They are.
Somebody sent that to us. Ryman may have sent. He sends a lot of great stuff. And if you're celebrating, Julie Aarons and others are celebrating Passover, hope you are having a great Passover time. And I'm sorry about this one. That was sent to us by, again, one of our FOSI, because Julia, remember the time we had on Friday with our Easter eggs. Yes. You ate that whole lit chocolate egg right away, but look at this, and that goes pretty well with our latest. Our latest mug that was sent by Stingray. I don't know where that came from, but you can see it must not be all that original. I thought it was the University of Northern Texas, but it showed up here from, I think, Ryman. I think sent that. An Easter egg salad, Julia. Huh? Doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
I don't know if it does look so good. Now this one also came, and this is from Ryman. Huh?
Oh.
Speaking of mugs, the coronation mugs are out.
Oh, that's awful.
I thought it was first class. That's from Ryman, Ted Ryman in the Republic of South Africa. Thank you, Ted, for that. Now, Julie, do you know what day it is today?
Richard Berry.
Well, that's a first clue. That is your first clue, and I teased it. I teased it in the show notes. I even gave the name, what it is. It's Richard Berry, who was born today, the 11th of April, 1935. He made it till 1997, a musician of some repute. And here's your second clue. Any idea?
Oh, out of the Kingsmen, but
the Kingsmen. Let's see if any of the FOSI know. Probably some of the FOSI will get this. Guy, don't call me Guy. Guy Briere in New Orleans, multitasking, work, Zoom call, and Sailing Illustrated. He's in Pensacola, not New Orleans. And Steve Atkins is doing some spring cleaning. He's the past commodore of the Madison Beach Club in Madison, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Alistair, I hope you're feeling better. Saying greetings from Metung. He's out there at his holiday home out, I guess that's east of Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, he's still alive. Fall dinghy racing canceled tomorrow, Emmett said. Just the foilers might race. It's really windy in Weymouth. It's been windy for several days. Fritz Mueller's down in Miami. We are rocking 20 to 35 knots and under flood watch for rain. Guy Briere's got it. You see that comment from Guy?
Oh, yes.
Louis.
Lou.
Louis, oh no. Ed Worley, cheers. Oh dear, I might be getting a Flying Scot to help grow dinghy sailing at Austin Yacht Club. Well, if you do, James, I'll come down and sail with you. Boomer Bland, I'll come down and sail with you in the Flying Squatini, having won 3 North American championships and a few other regattas. Oh, that's been a long time. Good evening from Yell, Shetland, Graham. Sweeney is saying up in Scotland, Weymouth over 50 knots tomorrow. Back to Louis.
Yeah.
There, the Kingsmen, courtesy of Variety, and the song Louis.
Yes.
The lead vocal by the guy second from the left, Jack Eli, Eli, from the song penned by Richard Berry in the 50s, and it is said to be, by Variety and many others, the world's most covered song, meaning more bands have played it. It's the most covered song. It's celebrated today on April 11th, the official International Louis Day.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Louis, and it's an R&B song written and composed by Richard Berry in 55, recorded in 56, and released in 57. But it wasn't really well known until the 60s when the hit version by the Kingsmen it became a standard in pop and rock. The song is based on the tune El Loco Cha-Cha, who would have known, popularized by band leader Rene Touzé. Is that how you say that? And is an example of Afro-Cuban influence on American popular music. I had no idea. Louis tells in simple verse chorus form, I kid you not, there is a sailing connection, the first-person story of a Jamaican sailor returning to the island to see his lover.
How nice.
Louis, you don't believe me?
I do.
Here's the words, the first verse. A fine little girl, she waits for me. Me catch the ship across the sea. Me sail the ship all alone. Me never think I'll make it home. Oh, Louis, depending upon which verse. Oh, no, me gotta go. Na, Louis, oh, baby, me gotta go. Now,
that's my era song.
It's my era. We played that in every band I've ever played in. And it's, as I say, it's the most covered song. It's very simple, A, D, E, 3 chords, E minor, but E minor 7th, in fact, but 3 chords, very simple. And then there's that little guitar solo in the middle. And it's a 2-minute song. It's an AM radio song from the 50s, and you say it's the early 60s. Another factor in the success of the record, and the fact that it was covered by so many, may have been the rumor that the lyrics were intentionally slurred by the Kingsmen, which apparently not true. The guy just had a bad mic, to cover up lyrics that were allegedly laced with profanity, graphically depicting sex between the sailor and his lady. Crumpled pieces of paper professing to be the real lyrics to Louis circulated among teens, and indeed they did. We heard it.
Yeah.
We heard the lyrics were this way, and then somebody said, oh, here's the real lyrics, and it's banned from this station and that station.
Oh,
it was played. We couldn't hear it on Detroit stations, on Michigan stations, but we could hear it on Canadian stations.
Yeah.
CKLW in Windsor, Ontario would play it.
We got ours from Mexico City.
Mexico. So that's the song, in fact, was banned on many radio stations and in many places in the U.S., including Indiana, back home in Indiana, where a ban was requested by then Governor Matthew Welsh. These actions were taken despite the small matter that practically no one could distinguish the actual lyrics. Denials of chicanery by Kingsman and Eli, the singer, did not stop the controversy. The FBI started but get this, a 31-month investigation into the matter and concluded they were, quote, unable to interpret any of the wording in the record, unquote. However, drummer Lynn Easton later admitted that he yelled the F-bomb after fumbling a drum fill at 54 seconds into the record. And what he dropped his, they did it in one take. They just took it. It was a garage band, somebody's garage or basement, and the guy fumbled the drums, dropped his drumstick, and yelled, the F word out. And it's how you can hear it if you know where to listen for it. And the guy in the start of the third verse, this lead singer, starts 2 bars early. He says, and then he realizes he's early, and the drummer does a little riff to cover it, and then they all start again. One take.
Wow.
I don't call me One Take Tom for nothing, but I never did that song in one take, although we did it when we did it live. However, drummer Lynn Easton later admitted that he yelled the F-bomb. So we celebrate today, Julia,
Yes.
International Louie Louie Day, or Louie Louie. And some people put a comma in the name between the two Louis, some don't. And it just as a coda. How's that for a musical reference?
Uh-huh.
In the mid-1980s, Barry was living on welfare. This guy, Richard Barry, wrote the song at his mother's house in South Central L.A. Drinks company, remember the California Coolers? Maybe they're still around. Wanted to use Louie Louie in a commercial, but discovered it needed Barry's signature to use the song. So the company tracked him down, and a lawyer visited. The lawyer mentioned the possibility of Barry's taking action to gain rights to the song, his song. The publisher settled out of court, making Barry a millionaire.
Isn't that nice? I didn't know
sometimes, sometimes good guys do finish, not last, but first.
That's nice.
Wasn't that nice?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
So what do the FOSI say? I think the Kingsman Stingray, and he's correct, originally recorded their version in a basement in Portland, Oregon. Yes. And at one point, Stingray, you'll be pleased to know, my research shows today that the state of your state, he's in Seattle, his state of Washington was going to name it the state song. Yeah, seriously. And then somehow it got blocked.
Oh, too bad.
Clark Chapin says even, believe it or not, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir covered it.
Oh.
Really? I didn't know that. Any sloppy drunk could dance to it. Perfect for us sailors, Fritz Mueller saying. Recording Illustrated, Boomer Bland is saying. Yes. Hi, Neil Collingridge. Nice to see you on. What a historically great tune. And now I am, Ed Worley. I was thinking the same thing because every bloody marching band, see Ed's comment? He's having marching band flashbacks. And we played that song by, we wanted to play it. The band director did, but we demand that we get to play it in at least one halftime show.
Right.
I
saw a 2-hour special of the Beach
Boys on NPR the other night, on what's that, PBS.
Oh, yeah. It was really wonderful.
Did it bring back memories?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It was good.
They covered it.
They were almost all the music was covered of their songs.
Oh, for sure.
During this program.
Yeah, and you know who was on whom they were a big influence by the band's own admission? The Beatles.
Beatles. Yeah.
Exactly right. Stingray saying that's right, Tom. Yes, it is the official song. It is the official song of the state of Washington. It gets played at every University of Washington UW Huskies football game by an enormous brass band.
I love that. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. So it's fun when you look these things up, and I knew there was a mention of sailing in it, but I got the lyrics to all 3 verses, and every verse it's about him missing his girl and going back to see his girl, the sailor seeing his girl in Jamaica. So who would have thought? I thought it was, we always sang it muffled, but we always sang the dirty lyrics. The dirty, always. Huh?
I didn't never know the dirty
I've sung it here at the Beach Street Yacht Club in our sing-alongs out here in the salon. And sung the dirty lyrics. Every night at 10, I lay her again. That's what we all thought the second verse was. Yeah.
Oh, I never know that.
It sure sounds like it. I mean, it sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
But again, the microphone, the guy had not just a shotgun mic like this. He had a mic way up high, and they just were in the garage or in the basement, and they just turned the recorder on, and it's pretty crummy. And the rest, as they say,
is history.
Is history. Okay, bravo Zulu to them. Bravo Zulu to Richard Barry, and also to the British team and everybody else who was on the podium in Palma, because this turned out to be not so good for North America, but for the Brits, and particularly the Kiwis. And the Aussies all had a pretty good go down there. At the 52nd annual Trofeo Princesa Sofia, Iberostar Hotels and Resorts in Mallorca have sponsored it. Here's the official video from World Sailing.
It was an action-packed day on the Bay of Palma as the Trofeo Princesa Sofia reached its dramatic conclusion. We now have gold medalists in all 10 Olympic disciplines. Japan's Keiji Okada and Miho Yoshioka did enough to win the 470 mixed gold medal ahead of Germany and Spain. Martina Graal and Kayena Kunz took the 49er FX gold medal in fine style, The double Olympic champions from Brazil sealed the overall win with a sweet victory in the medal race.
I think it was nice yesterday to have finished a little bit ahead of points to go to the medal race with a little bit more, easy task.
Logan Dunningbeck and Oscar Gunn overtook their New Zealand teammates for the gold medal in the 49er class. A second place in the medal race was good enough for Great Britain's John Gibson and Anna Burnett to snatch NACRA 17 gold from their Italian training partners.
I think we've probably both dreamt about winning this regatta before in our careers, so I mean, yeah, it's on par with winning the Worlds, to be honest. It's a big deal.
Great Britain's Sam Sills won gold on the IQ foil board in a dramatic three-way shootout. It was also gold for Great Britain in the IQ foil women as Emma Wilson won the grand final in fine style.
But this time I knew I'd just given absolutely everything in all my training, and whatever happened, I couldn't have done any more, so I'm super happy it turned out this way.
The Dutch three-time Olympic medalist Marit Bouwmeester took time away from her duties as a young mother to win the ILCA 6 gold medal by a huge margin, 27 points. Great Britain's Mickey Beckett repeated last year's victory at Parma, winning ILCA 7 gold by 27 points.
It's the first event title I've ever won and managed to defend. I've never done that before, so it's a real first for me and shows like it's a bit of vindication for how I go about things.
France's Lauriane Nalot powered to Formula Kite gold in the women's fleet. The 16-year-old from Singapore, Max Mader, earned his Formula Kite gold medal in a one-race final. Mader's Formula Kite victory was good enough to earn the Singaporean the title of overall winner of the Trofeo Princesa Sofía, another great milestone in the remarkable career of this talented 16-year-old. So the regatta is complete. 1,300 sailors took part in one of the biggest Olympic sailing competitions ever seen. And you can be sure that the world's best will be back in a year's time for the 2024 edition of the Trofeo Princesa Sofía.
Nice video from World Sailing, and I appreciate very much they're letting us use them. And of course, we also appreciate very much John Emmett's reporting, which he gave us all through the regatta, and has a wrap-up report, at least for the ILCAs, which will air here in a few moments.
Okay.
This next video, Julia, is courtesy of one of the classes, three of the classes actually, and I think you will enjoy this as well. Have a look. 49er, the 49er FX, and the NACRA 17. The NACRA's question is to foil or not foil, bear away and go fast and sail a longer course, and be on your foils, but perhaps go faster. Brits won. This is, of course, mixed gender now. This is a mixed doubles class. Brits won 4 golds and 2 silvers.
That's great.
The Spanish winning a race in the 49er. NZL won the regatta in the 49er. Their winning team from New Zealand. And a nice little sea of all the winners there at the end at the Princess Sofía, as most of the English language folks call it. Now, we also have a video. Thanks, Alistair Murray, for sending this video along from sailing, or Australian Sailing. I can never remember if it's Sailing Australia or Australian Sailing. A nice video featuring their good effort in Palma.
Medal race day today. Exciting times on the 49er course. We've got TB and Max sitting in 3rd, and Jim and Sean in 9th. On the ILCA 6 course, we've got Zoe sitting in 2nd in a really, really tight field. And on the ILCA 7 course, we've got Matt Wern sitting in 7th, who's really coming out to show he's not content with that performance and excited to see what he can do as he pushes through that fleet today.
I woke up this morning on Facebook and told me 11 years ago I came 3rd in Parma, which was like one of my first podiums in a World Cup. So 11 years ago in the laser. And then it was just ironic a little bit that we're going into today 3rd. You know, we could go forwards and we could go backwards, so it was nice that we went forwards. But yeah, Max and I, first European regatta.
Yeah, just super stoked, that we put together a really good week and we've kept getting better every day, and yeah, just a bit speechless actually. It's pretty good.
I had a really good week. I had really solid qualifying series and then a tougher final series. Knew I had to come today and sort of bring a good performance. Yeah, well, it feels really good. It's been a lot of hard work with the whole squad to actually start getting some results all together. So it feels like a good validation of all the hard work that we're starting to be on the podium.
I don't know any other national authorities that are, there probably are, that are doing nice videos. Bo Outeridge, Nate's brother, go and lives up there in Wanji with Jody Shields, and they all grew up together. I don't know any other national authority that is doing videos, sending a videographer, and of course Bo's taking pictures, and then Alistair, as the president, is being sure his office sends out nice videos and press releases. And it's got to be good for sponsors. It's got to be good for sailing in the country.
Yes.
Probably France does it. Probably, I don't know, other countries. Italy maybe does it, but I haven't seen it. And I see the Australian sailing ones. The U.S. doesn't seem to be doing it. I'm starting to, I think, understand what's going on with the U.S. at these regattas. Both the U.S. and Canada, neither of us were on the podium, any of these classes. U.S. or Canada, North America, no Bermuda, no Mexico. So, okay, thanks, Alistair, for being sure that got sent to me. He sent me the link. Now, you've heard mention of this guy, as great a job as the Brits did, racking up an impressive haul of medals, 4 gold and 2 silver across the 10 Olympic classes. So they got 6 medals in the 10 classes.
Wow.
Which will feature at next summer's Paris Olympics. The top award for the Majorcan Showcase Regatta went to the 16-year-old Singaporean Maximilian, that name is spelled wrong, and this is from World Sailing, Maximilian Maeder, it's M-A-E-D-E-R, that's not my graphics department, 22 World Championship runner-up in that kite class, who won the men's Formula Kite class. You saw him featured in our cover slides today.
That's fun.
He's 16 years old, and John Emmett tells me he's just a big, strong kid. After a string of 8 wins in the preliminary and final series, he won the medal race, the medal final, they're calling it now, to become only the 2nd Asian sailor to win the Giant Regatta's absolute top award. They go through all the gold medalists, and whoever has been most dominating in their class, they award the Princesa Sofía Trofeo Princess, to that one person. So he's won the ultimate prize. That's what we've got. And he's the first Asian, only the 2nd Asian, to win the Giant Regatta's absolute top award. This first one since China's U-10 dominated the RSX class in 2019. Maeder's trophy triumph no doubt reflects his outstanding skills, the depth of competition, and the truly international entry in this young, dynamic new Olympic class, which will debut in the Olympic arena in Marseille next summer. Now, in the women's, our local Julia champion, who's Daniela Moros, who's been winning everything.
Right.
She was 4th. Now, you know what they've done with the way they score the kites? You saw me tease it at the top of the show. Is World Sailing listening to the FOSI? You think?
Yeah.
Because they did a winner take all. That whoever won the medal race won the gold, irrespective of how you've done in all these other races. In just the kites, both the women's, and Daniela, after doing very well in the regatta, finished 4th in the medal race. So she was off the podium. It's winner take all. This kid did very well, and then this kid, he's only 16 years old, and then he also won the medal race, and he won virtually all of the races in the gold in the final. Wow. So there he is with the big trophy, Maximilian Maeder from Singapore. Bravo Zulu to him. And it's the class that drives the scoring system, John Emmett is saying, not necessarily World Sailing. But John, you got to admit World Sailing has to bless whatever the class comes up with, or else it won't happen. So here is the score sheet. Now, my graphics department did a good job on this, because they're between net points and total points. There's a whole bunch of races in here, which I cut out so we could then just see the last final racing. Now, this kid was first in the, once they qualified and they broke the fleet into the gold fleet and everybody else in the has-been fleet. One, not has been, but the after, you know, the non-qualifying. 1-1-1-1-3-1-2-1. Okay?
Wow.
In the medal race, he was 1. And if you see here in the order, the medal racing is the same order they finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they've done that. And I'll go back to where you can see the chart. See that if you look in total points, he only had one fewer point. Max, had one fewer point than the third place team, yet the third place team finished third in the medal race. So we had that discussion on Friday's show, Corrector Crutonic. And I got to tell you, I think this is exciting. I don't know what the sailors think. John Emmett was there, and we shall see. Stingray saying, I bet Max dominates for years. Alan Long, sorry I'm late. The daffodils are blooming in northeastern Ohio, 3 weeks till launch.
Oh, good.
Yeah, May 1st is kind of the Great Lakes. That's when the water's bloody cold, I was telling you the other night. Connor is about 2 meters. Connor? You mean Connor or do you mean Mater? John Emmett? Connor. Oh, Connor Bainbridge, the Brit, who was second. Yeah, you can see here on this chart. Connor Bainbridge is 2 meters tall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 185, so that's another 15 centimeters taller. That's another 7 inches taller than I am. Is that right? 6 inches taller than I. So he's 6 or 7.
Wow.
What other comments here, Julia? I bet, yeah, we said that. It is the class which drives the scoring. Got it. The final year of the Olympic cycle, the competition gets much tougher, indeed, John Emmett. But I think you're in that final year now. I think the competition is very tough indeed. John also saying most of the top IQ foil class and kitesurf are pretty big. Big, strong boys and girls. You know, Andrew, I see Pindar's comment here. Pretty sure his brother sails for Switzerland. I don't know the relation. I was going to ask somebody if they knew. Michel Mater sailed with Alinghi. He's a good friend of mine. He's one of the nicest guys in the Cup since forever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the father, and Michel's a big boy too. And if he's the father of this guy or an uncle or something, the kid's in Singapore, but he trains in Croatia. He's got a Croatian training partner. So I don't know how that works, if he's sailing for Singapore because he lives there part-time or going to school there or something. Maybe somebody will know. And Steve Gruber is saying Steve Calder is 2 meters tall. Yeah, he's good 6 inches, a good head taller than I. Steve Too Tall Calder and his kid is also sailing in the kites here and a resident of San Francisco. What's Steve Calder's son's name? I'll think of it.
Don't know.
Okay, Julia, we carry on here. This is just one of my favorite pictures.
Oh, yes.
I use that on my Facebook. And it's, you know, these fantastic Brits just did a hell of a good job. The Brazilians did okay, the Kiwis, the Aussies. And one Japanese team on the podium in winning the mixed 470. They're strong in the 470 class in Japan. Logan Dunning and Oscar Gunn, as you saw from NZL, the 49er champs, Martina Grail and Kahina Kunze from Brazil won the FX. And Max, we told you about winning the Kite Men's. And Lauriane Nolot. Nolot is how you pronounce that in French, Julia? Formula Kite from France, the woman. And we're going to have interviews with Merritt and with Michael, courtesy of John Emmett, in a moment for the ILCA 6 and 7, the IQ foil. Sam Sills, who did apparently a great job as well, also a Brit. And then Emma Wilson also doing well. They took the Brits, swept the IQ foils, and they've just done great across the board. And I'm convinced more than ever that it is coaching that is propelling the Brits, not just the money. But of course, the money allows them to hire and keep good coaches.
Yes.
And finally, in the NACRA 17, another Brit team of John and Anna, John Gimson and Anna Burnett. Bravo Zulu to them. Now, speaking of the Princess Sofia Trophy, we have the winners in the ILCA 6 and the ILCA 7 interviewed by John, and we take that video. Beautiful video, one of his best.
Ricky Beckett, back-to-back Princess Sofía champion. How are you feeling now?
Good. Yeah, good. A little bit tired, but really, really good. I'm really happy.
And it was a mixed bag, but not only champion, I have to say, with a day to spare. First time you've done this?
Oh yeah, never even come close before. Didn't really even think it was possible for me. So it's today. It's like since finishing sailing yesterday, it's all been a bit surreal. Like I really just didn't know what to do with myself, but still had to go sailing today. But it was great. I really enjoyed the medal race just now, and I'm really pleased.
Looking back, I guess you say you haven't had time to think, but you must have felt that everything clicked a bit this week.
Certainly into final series it did. Qualifying I struggled a bit. I was about 6th or 7th. It wasn't going badly, but I was aware that I needed to somehow step it up a bit. And then the last 2 days of final series, it just worked. In the conditions we had, I was just able to find the right bits of the racetrack to be in. And I was just really happy with how I sailed.
Looking forward, what do you think about the conditions there? Because it's not a big break, is it?
No, we'll pretty much be flying in about a week. I mean, this time last year we had a lovely regatta, like moderate easterlies, nice sea state. We have also had that regatta at the same time of year, and it's been cold and really, really windy southwesterlies. So
expect anything?
Expect anything, yes. Yes, be grateful for it. Yeah.
Can I say, what does a full-time Ilka 7 do in his week off then?
I bought a house recently, which is in a slight state of disrepair. So I'll be painting stuff, putting stuff together, trying to buy furniture from charity shops, and just generally a bit of housekeeping, really. Quite looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, welcome to real life.
Grown-up life, yeah.
And many, many congratulations.
Thank you, John. Thanks a lot.
Marit Baumeister, 2 events back-to-back, just fresh from winning the Europeans, winning Parma, day to spare. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
It's nice to be back. I knew you put together really good series to win it with a day to spare. Obviously had to do the middle race anyway, but what do you put that down to?
I'm not quite sure. I'm just very pleased where I stand because obviously I had Jessie sea turns won in mid-May. And it was just a little bit of search how to combine the sailing with the home situation, and it's always sort of big give and take, and I'm not sure if I quite figured it out, but I'm just very pleased that if I have time to sail, to be out on the water. So I really appreciate the sailing.
You're doing such a good job of it. I don't know how you say that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just really appreciate what the home front, I'm not sure if you call it that in English, but my boyfriend and my family is doing for me. And also the full-time babysitter. And I'm happy to be here, but I'm also very happy to go home.
We're really happy to have you here. Just for the folks home, you can really clearly explain why you weren't here last year.
Yeah, I was still pregnant though. It was almost my due date. So I'm very grateful to be a mom and to experience it. And giving birth, I think, is such a painful but also an amazing experience, and I think it helps me a lot with my sailing.
And going forward, are you going to do the sort of full circuit this year, or does motherly duties curtail that a little bit?
Yeah, so yes, it's a bit too much, so I'll be in home. It's nice that Holland warmed up a little bit, so I can train at home and put in some training out. I used to do, so I can't do all the events, but I'm happy I did do these 2, and I'm happy that the team is flexible, and also Mirte and Maxime and Marissa, they're pushing me really hard, but they're okay with me not always being there. So I'm in a happy place.
I can see that, and I have to say, whatever you're doing is really working, and very best of luck. And I guess, where will you see you next?
Next one will probably be the test event.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe see you in Marseille.
See you in Marseille.
John Abbott, get to the front of the fleet. John, that was just fabulous, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just, I think his best video yet, and we appreciate that very much. The boats, Fritz Mueller saying down in Miami, the boats seem so different now with the carbon rigs. Are they? Joe Holtzman agreeing. Absolutely great interview. Going back up, replying to Alan Long. Water temp on Lake Erie at the moment at the 5 Mile Cleveland Crib. Water intake is 42 and 43 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's chilly. I mean, growing up, I was telling you, or was it Alfredo the other day, that you can sail. The ice is off the lake on our little lake where we grew up in southeastern Michigan.
Yeah.
Goes off, blows off in March, the ice starts to melt, but it really doesn't melt off. It blows off. You get a big windstorm and it blows up onto the front lawns of the cottages and so on, which is why they lower the lake level, let the water, open the dam in the fall and artificially lower the lake level so that when the ice blows off, it used to blow off the lake in March and go up and move cottages off their foundation. I'm not kidding. So that happens in March, but the water is bloody cold even in May. It doesn't really warm up until
42 sounds cold to me.
43 Fahrenheit. So it doesn't really warm up until, June. Still pretty cold waiting your boat around or waiting in the water. I just think Emmett's getting better and better at the technical side. The nerd that he is, he and I talk, and me as well, talking about video.
Or being nerdy.
Well, we don't talk about being nerdy. We just admit that we are. He's saying now his video was 4K, 120 frames a second. We're streaming at 1080, which is the level down, at 60 frames a second. So his video, and you can't see it all in our stream, but fabulous stuff. Joe Cool, thank you. Kite Calder, that's his name. The kid's a hell of a nice kid and a good kiter and kite foiler. And as John says, their next stop for all of them is Hyères. And Andrew Pindar is saying the Maters is up there off the comments now. The Maters, is Michelle the dad, Michelle Mater, whom I know, have the Wakatobi Resort near Bali. They must own that resort. And the dad is Swiss, as Michelle. I'm Michelle Mater, sounding more and more like the dad. And the mother, okay, we got it, is Singaporean. Look at how smart the FOSI are.
Gosh,
nice. They just know what's going on.
Yep.
And I'll bet you that Andrew Pindar knew that off the top of his head. That wasn't something he dredged up on Wikipedia or YouTube, Googling. Great interviews. Alistair Murray agrees. Thanks, John. So the Cloggy and the Brit taking the Ilka 6 and 7 respectively. So Andrew says no. I'm not sure what he's answering my question, but I'm not sure which part of it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Great interviews. And again, that's John Emmett Sailing. And now we've got the Coach's Corner. We're not done with John yet, Julia.
Oh, wow.
We got the Coach's Corner.
He's been
with
busy.
John because he got back to Weymouth and then right away did a video. Have a look.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the FOSI. I'm here in a very windy Weymouth, quite different conditions to Palmer. Hopefully I'm not going to get blown away. I have to thank Fee Atwell, one of the mums here, very much for holding my tripod because I'm slightly paranoid that my camera would blow over. It is that windy. So perhaps no surprise, none of the dinghies are racing, but the foilers are out. So the IQ foils or the equivalent youth class gone out, and the kite surfers, I believe, are going to go out earlier, but it is, sorry, go out later, but it is blowing dogs off chains here. You can't see, but every single boat behind you is now completely tied down, so hopefully nobody's going to be losing their ship. And it'll be an early start for the youngsters tomorrow. I think they're probably looking at something like 10 o'clock racing, because maybe Wednesday's blown off as well, such as the nature of our sport. So I wanted to talk a little bit about discipline. We talked earlier about motivation, but it's probably discipline. This idea of being professional is the most important thing, because we're all going to have days when we lack the motivation, and it's those people who show the discipline and do what they need to do when they need to do it who are going to perform well. And that's why it's actually easy sometimes at youth level to work out, who's likely to perform, because it's not just about talent, it's about hard work. Crikey, it is quite windy. I'm literally getting blown around here. So yeah, back in the UK, I will be joining you on the show. But I think it's something to think about, that the people we see performing well today, the Matthew Werns, the Mickey Beckett's, for any of the classes, where they start in youth is so important to get people into good habits right from the beginning. And it takes years and years to get to the top of our sport. It's a sport which really the world's experience. I mean, Mariette Bouwmeester did a fantastic job in Palmer, winning before the medal race. And, she's going to be doing her potentially 4th Olympic gold medal, because experience is so important if you keep the body in shape. Personally, actually, my hip's been a lot better just having a bit of time off the water, much as I dislike it. But anyway, I'm going to see you later on the show. Comments always very welcome.
Yeah, there's some of the comments, Julie, you may deserve a finger shake. Did you see this thing from Stingray? There's probably a lot of guys who are thinking it but didn't say it. John, are you trying to do a Linford Christie impersonation? That was from Pindar. And then somewhere Stingray said, great shot in the wind. Are you hanging, hiking, left or right? Hard to tell. Shake your finger, Julia, at Stingray. You know what he's talking about?
No.
I think that's why the strings of his sweatpants are hanging down in front of him
Oh.
to avoid a VPL here on Sailing Illustrated.
Ah.
We'd have VPL Illustrated here. Normally, John does a chest shot, you know, from here up, but he's got a knee shot here today, a torso shot. So that got some crude comments from some of you. That's what I'm relying on, Neil Collar. How amazing how clear that mic is in the breeze. Yeah, his audio and everything is getting better. Julia, shake your finger at Stingray. He's a crouton for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Well,
course,
they probably couldn't help it.
and I had to bring it up, of course, as well, being the sophomore. They've already canned the racing tomorrow. Great shot in the wind. I love it blowing dogs off chains. Joe Holtzman and I at our home club in Michigan, Julia, we loved the breeze.
Mm-hmm.
He's sailing in the interlake class, and I was sailing in the Flying Scot class and the fireball class. Somebody liked my fireball shot. That was fireball shot we'll tell you about in a minute. But John Emmett Sailing, get to the front of the fleet. We appreciate John's regular reports on here. And Julia, he likes to say,
Yes, like, follow, and share, and he's good at it.
he does say that, and we appreciate the promotion from him and everybody else. Says it's time now to get to the ocean race. They've finished, as you all know, leg 3, and they're in Itajaí here on the east coast of South America, Brazil. Next leg is starting on Sunday the 23rd, if you can see that, and they're going up to Newport, Rhode Island, and then across for a double counter over to Aarhus for this leg from Newport that starts on May 21st and finishes Mas o Menos in Aarhus on the 8th of June. So they're not doing just a flyby. They're actually going up there. Let's show you the chart up close and personal here. In Aarhus in Denmark on the 8th of June. And they're there for a week and then to Den Haag, to The Hague. After doing a flyby, they're flying by Kiel, then going to The Hague, and then around Spain, the Iberian Peninsula, and into the Med for the Grand Finale in Genoa, and they have an import race on Saturday, July 1st. So a lot of race left.
Yeah.
May, June, and the rest of April. Well, they're not quite starting yet, but they're what's the start in Itajaí? 23rd of April. So that's in 2 weeks' time, a little less than. Okay, but we have, as promised, I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing. We're in 45 minutes in to this show. This is the promised video. It's about 13 minutes long. I don't think I'll play the whole thing because you can go onto their YouTube channel. Just go onto YouTube, which, you know, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world after Google itself. And of course, Google owns YouTube. Mm-hmm. And it's an amazing search engine. You can go on there and just search The Ocean Race, get to their YouTube channel, and you can see all their videos, including this one, which is the highlights of Leg 3. I think I'll just excerpt it here for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Well, you can go get this yourselves, but it's on their YouTube channel, as I said. But Fritz Mueller's saying he likes the music for
Yes,
a change.
I do too.
I agree. I think it's just beautiful. Yep, Boomer Bland, James Bland saying it looks wet. Yeah, well, it is, but remember, they're down below for the most part. Wow, this is seriously great drone video, Stingray is saying.
Yes.
Bobby and Haroldson saying this is just beyond awesome. When you didn't think the last VOR footage could be topped. Look at this.
Yes. Beauty.
Seriously beautiful. There's some rainbows in here. There's just some amazing stuff. And the OBRs, the on-board reporters, videographers, photographers, they really brought, there it is. Okay, I think with that rainbow, we'll come out and you can go look at the rest of it. That's what, 4.5 minutes of a, what is a almost 14-minute video. So do go have a look. It's beautiful, really nice. And the reason I want to jump off here is because I have another video now from the ocean race, from the village. And I think it's really, just released an hour before we went to air, gives you a good feel for what's going on in the village and with the teams as we speak.
So we're here in Itajaí for the beginning of the service period after the massive leg of 14,000 nautical miles. Feels like a bullet, better use me right. Yeah, we have 3 of the 5 boats here now, being Goyo, which obviously unfortunately had to come over the other direction across the Atlantic to get to us. And then we have both Malizia and Wholesome here behind us, and they've had a pretty quick turnaround to begin their, what you would say, the beginning of their service period. And then both teams now are working on getting the foils out and their rudders, and their intent is that both would like to get their boats down from what is their fixed position on the keel and the high cradle here now, to come down into what they call their low cradle, which is a cradle on wheels, which will get them down to a working ground level. It's like a bullet, better use me right. It's time to be free. Don't think twice. Come along with me, yeah.
We got into stripping the boat out, getting all the gear out of it, safety equipment, spares, food, and cleaning the boat on the interior. And now we've lifted it out, and so that we can do proper inspections of the whole boat, all the keel system, the structure, and yeah, just give it a good once over and see if we can find any issues. We're very happy with the condition the boat's in. We've had our issues that everybody knows about early in the race. Will and Rosie and the other sailors did an amazing job at working at the top of the mast and doing such a super structural, neat, tidy job.
We are happy because we don't have damage on the hull. All the structure is perfect. We don't have problem to do a lot of lamination. We have guys for that, but they will do other things. We have a lot of small details to see, and we want to put the boat better than better. We do some cosmetic on the foil, some cosmetic on the rudders, and the keel. We take a rope on the keel, so we need to do a little paint. But not all the keel, only a small patch. Yes, with a particular condition of wave, we have a problem with the autopilot during the leg. We broke 3 buttons, so we send all the data at the constructor of the autopilot, and we search to resolve this small problem. But it was a problem when you have the wave, like Kevin on the crew, in the last 48 hours, but we are happy because it was a big leg and we don't have a lot of job.
Nice view, huh? Yeah, so as you see here, it's still full of water because this is the foil case, and we hit something with the foil, and so it broke the back of the foil case. So it's a crack, big crack, and the water came in the boat. So we need to fix that, to repair the foil and to repair the foil case. We have electronic problem like wind sensor, hydraulic engine for the keel, rudders. We have a structural problem on longi, panel is broken. All the rope, sails, many things to do. But you know, you have to take the priority of each thing, and we know that the boat will not be 100%. We need to make decision to what is more important to fix.
So now we've been on the analysis of the foil, checking how is the state with the NDI and checking the state of the plies and the amount of the damage. So basically now the guys now are removing all the delaminated plies. So basically we are taking the foils out of the event, basically, because as you see, we need to have this job made in a place that's more clean and with the shed that can help us to do the lamination in a clean ambient, having like a proper post-cure, and I mean the process of the lamination will take a bit long time, and then when it's better organized, the result is much better.
You know, it's not the only problem we have. So we have that on top of many other things. So it's the additional of all these things is really difficult. And we don't have to, we have less than 2 weeks, because in less than 2 weeks we have a program, so we will need to be on the water ready. So we probably have more 10 days to repair the boat.
We knew there was some issues before the boat even got here. You know, we had our rudder damages, we had our mainsail damages, we had a few front sail damages. Since hauling the boat out, we've been able to basically take the foils out, check the whole boat over. We found a few little bits, but actually, you know, I've got to hand it to the sailors this leg. They were really diligent in reporting what had broken to us, so we were, you know, as prepared as we could be. We haven't really found any surprises on the boat from, you know, arrivals, which is awesome. Right now, we're pretty happy with the structure of the boat. We did obviously a lot of testing before the ocean race itself, and I think, you know, hopefully we learned a lot from that, and we improved the structure before the race. Yeah, we found a few little things. You know, it's a carbon fiber race boat, so we're bound to find a few bits here and there. But it's awesome to see it arrive here and actually to have no big structural issues, so that's good.
See, happy bloke, eh? I will unfurl the sail now, take it out of the bag. There's nothing holding it.
It's my fashion.
It's very bizarre. It's still in one piece. The initial plan is, and it will be repaired, what happens, because they need another mainsail for the next leg. So very impressed actually, and very creative with the webbings, and so they didn't use only sailcloth, but they took webbings off the sailbag to have more sailcloth if needed in another place. So they're very creative, and it held the whole way. So 1 week of sailing like this, pretty good.
Now it's about to you know, it's all about getting these jobs done and then actually focusing on all the bits, you know, after all these big jobs that'll really make the difference and make leg 4, you know, hopefully as best as we can. So for sure frustrating, but you know, I think we're over it now and we're just focused on the next leg already.
Focused on the next leg, excuse me, already. Nice video, a bit longer than we normally play, but I thought well worth playing, giving you a good feel for what's going on.
Oh, absolutely.
In the village of the ocean race, now in Itajaí. You were going to say something there when I just was turning the mics up.
Oh, the delamination is incredible.
Well, it's amazing, given the speeds. Okay, so that nice music that we were all enjoying, can you ID the music? Alan Long said it's Vivaldi.
Yeah.
What was the name of it? What's the name of it? Flight of the... Am I right? Clark Chapin will know. Flight of the Bumblebee, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's what that was in the music on the that.
It didn't sound like that.
I think it was.
Okay.
Somebody will know. And if it was, do you know who wrote it? Do the locals speak Portuguese in Itajaí? Yeah, it was Ted Ryman.
Yes.
Yeah, Flight of the Bumblebee.
Yes, they do.
Vivaldi, but you know who wrote it? The Four Seasons, right? Gordon Smith, well done. Okay, got a smart group on here. You're correct. Flight of the Bumblebee. Thank you, Joe Holtzman.
Rimsky-Korsakov.
Korsakov, right. That was Winter from the Four Seasons. Oh, Chris actually saying no, it was Winter from the Four Seasons. Okay. Well, got a smart group on here. As always,
I'm
no
delighted
surprise.
to learn all that.
Somebody was that was Winter. Chris actually is asserting. Flight of the Vampire Stingray. Rimsky-Korsakov. Pindar's got it.
Yep.
There was a question here from, was it Bill Wingrove? Somebody up here said, look at everybody chiming in here, musicians. I wonder how many of them played Louie Louie when they were in their own rock and roll bands or garage bands growing up. Our band, the name of our band, we were in just junior high school, 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
And we had a kid that played the sax, was in the band. He was a year older than we were, and his sister played the drums, and a guy my age played the trumpet, and I played the guitar and the bass. And we'd play a few weddings, and we'd play Louie at the weddings. You know, some adult sailor, somebody at the yacht club had hired us to go play their daughter's graduation party or something. And when we'd play Louie, they'd all go, oh no, are they going to sing the real words or not? We were called the Wild Ones.
Oh, of course.
And we were the least wild band on the face. As I'm sure everybody here in the FOSI are. We wore a blazer and a tie and a white shirt. I mean, we were hardly wild, let alone the Wild Ones. I wonder if Clark Chapin remembers any of that. I wonder how much NDT, you know what NDT means? Non-destructive testing, I think, is what Gordon Smith is saying. I wonder how much NDT they do on the hulls and internal structures. I'm sure they are doing a lot, Gordon. I'm sure they get out the old sonogram. You know, they're doing a lot of testing on the entire boat. Talking about drone flying, Stingray's becoming a bit of a drone flying expert. I wonder how many of those drones they've lost.
Oh, I'm sure a lot.
You know, well, I'm not so sure. They're expensive. I think the guys and gals that are flying them are so good now that they know when to put them up and not risk losing them. And, of course, catching them. When we do the Governor's Cup, Chris Bretschker and his gang, you know, we have 2 drones that go back and forth. We fly one up, and then that one goes up and does its thing for 15, 20 minutes before the batteries run out. And because it's not only flying, but it's also sending video back live.
Yeah.
And then another one cycles up. That one comes back, and the guy, we have a great big tall guy.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Normally up on the foredeck, Moose, you know, too big, up on the foredeck, and he's got like falconer's gloves on.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get, you know, chopped up by, and he's got to be up on the deck of the, you know, this is a 45, 50 foot big boat out in the, if there's any seaway at all, the boat's rolling around and you land it and he's up there to catch it.
Yeah.
And
I've seen him in video.
And now, we try, I say, hey, cover that. Let's show that to the audience. And then the next one goes up before that as the other one comes back. And it's His name is Max Moosman. He's a founder of Sailing Illustrated, the website. He helped me put that together with Meg and Chris Bretschker and a couple others. But Max Moosman, and we call him Moose Maxman because he's so big and he gets up there to catch those things. And they must be a pain in the ass to catch those drones coming back onto the yachts in the ocean. Relief for 11th hour. I was concerned there would be major problems with the rudders. Very innovative repairs on board. Very impressive. Yes, they do seem to be snake bit, Chris. Actually, I hope they get their act together and get some points, good points here in the next couple of races. The Four Seasons, you're correct. Flight of the, where are we? What did we decide? Not Flight of the Bumblebees. Humchick is saying, but no, I don't think so, Stingray. It's the winner from Four Seasons. Louis, it's not Louis. It was, okay, where are we here? Catching a drone from a foiling yacht in the South Atlantic is an amazing trick, and yes, they are pricey, Stingray says. Jody Shields is up, and Adam. Hi, Jody, 7 in the morning in Sydney, and probably at Wanji. Wanji, if they are a pain in the arse, you are catching them wrong. That's the comment of the day from Jody Shields. Trouble with carbon is failure leaves little warning. Indeed, it's brittle. Okay, that's a nice video from the ocean race. We'll get off the ocean race. Now you see why I didn't want to play all 14 minutes of that first video, because I thought that second video was just out an hour before we went to air.
Yeah.
This day in history, Julia, do you know what happened? On this day in history in 1912.
Yes. 1912.
Here's your first clue. You know who that gentleman is? Here's his name. Captain Edward Smith from Great Britain. He was born a year before AC0 in 1850.
Yes.
And he lived till 1912, which is this day in history. What happened? Biden's uncle. Ed Worley's got it. The first one is Ed Worley, the Titanic. But the captain of the Titanic, yes. Titanic sinks? No. Titanic left Southampton? No. The Titanic had its little mishap. Clark Chapin saying, no. It's a huge thing. Rich Banner. Hi, Rich. Rick Banner has been on here a lot. Here's your next clue. Does anyone recognize the harbor? That is the Titanic. It's the last known photo of the RMS Titanic on this date, 11th of April, 1912. Titanic launched. No. Fritz Mueller?
It's on its trip, beginning of its trip to
It is the beginning. Stingray, bingo. We need my little captain of Ireland. Gordon Smith's got it. Cobb. James Frederick Bland's got it even better. Ireland, leaving Queensland. Clark Chapin's Googled that, I suppose. I did not know that the Titanic left on its last leg of its ill-fated trip from Cork, from down in the harbor. Cobb Heritage Center is there now celebrating or remembering, and it's in what's called Queenstown. And it's outside of Cork, not Belfast, Ted Ryman. And the Titanic left Ireland after its last stop in Cobb. That is true. And here's their, I didn't know this. They actually left Southampton on the 10th of April, went to Cherbourg to drop off some passengers, and apparently they picked up a few, went to Queenstown and did the same, with a little drop off and a little pickup. And then they took off today on the 11th of April from Queenstown, from just outside of Cork. I did not know I thought they went from Southampton as well. The French are responsible. Rick Banner is saying, I don't think so. Sevastopol, no. That is not the last known photo. Paul Homchick is saying, well, that's what Wikipedia said, and Wikipedia is, of course, never wrong. So that's last known photo from, I guess, from them docking out in Cork, at least. A Titanic today, this day in 1912, docked out from Queenstown, Ireland, outside of Cork there, for the trip to New York. And of course, this Friday will be that, it was on Friday, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14th, I think it was the day it sunk, just before midnight, or began to sink. Maybe it was the 15th that it actually sank. Let's do some America's Cup news now, AC-37 Cup date. And we have a bit of breaking news. I haven't seen it in the mainstream press, but thank you, Stingray. Thank you, Ted Ryman. Thank you, any number of others of you who sent this along. Do you recognize that town, Julia?
Oh, I should.
It is in southern Sardinia. It's Cagliari.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Pindar knows how to pronounce that better than I.
Yes.
It's not Cagliari like all the Anglos pronounce it. Cagliari in Sardinia, southeast corner of Sardinia, down here. There are three big towns on that's the Italian spelling for Sardinia. Cagliari here in the southeast, and the ferries run there, and they've got an airport. Up here, Olbia in the northeast. They've got an airport there, and that, of course, services this is the Costa Smeralda, the Emerald Coast. And up here is, of course, where Yacht Club Costa Smeralda is. And there's another airport over here in Sassari, and there's good sailing. We sailed a world championship out here in Stintino. I think it was the World Women's Championship, way out here. Beautiful sailing, beautiful island, great people. Also, some of the longest lived people.
That's great diet.
There's the crowd in Japan. There's the crowd here. And one of the longest live group of people. The great diet, the Mediterranean diet, the wine, whatever it is. But that is the story for that is the locale from whence our big story comes today in Cagliari. Here's your other clue. That is the race course, or was to be the race course, for what everyone thought was going to be, if not the first World Series event of this cycle for the America's Cup, but at least one of them. And the word from our FOSI Michele Tognazzi of Faravella and others, writing yesterday and today, no America's Cup World Series in Cagliari, a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to go in. We got a Google Trans from Stingray, and thank you very much for that. But it's a back and forth. It's a he said, she said. It sounds like Grant Dalton was negotiating a deal, that they had answered the questions. They had a deal in principle. And then it sounds like the mayor and the council and whoever else of the region started to get cold feet about the number of media, the impact, or maybe they said, you know what, the economy is getting a little sour here and we better not spend the money now. So they figured out a way to back out of it. But by all accounts, I think there was a deal done. The other thing they said in Cagliari in these news reports, Julia, is that they're saying that the locals said, well, once they announced Villanova, that town down the coast from Barcelona, that was going to be Regatta 1, they felt like they were getting second fiddle.
Oh.
That they were not, they wanted the big announcement, they wanted the big impact.
Yeah.
And now they didn't want to play second fiddle. So, as Bill Wingrove said, the AC money people are having a spat over how much they can or cannot get. No dough, no show. No cash, no splash. But in any event, that World Series event in Cagliari, by all accounts, including and especially Michele Tognazzi, who would know. And I shouldn't say, but I have talked, I told Stingray this, I have talked to a senior serious friend within Luna Rossa. Yesterday I talked to them, the day before yesterday. And they have confirmed that this is off.
That's too bad.
So it is too bad. Now, I thought we should follow up a little bit on that. Of course, is the training base in Cagliari, has been for Luna Rossa Prata Pirelli. I thought we should follow up with them and this latest report out of their training base. Just to set, this is a video from a couple of days ago that's had almost 18,000 views on the ACE website. You can also Google America's Cup and get to the ACE website. And with Tita and Bizzarro away sailing NACRA 17s in Palma, it was the turn of Jacopo Plazzi, the 49er ace, to partner with Francesco Bruni on the first day back on the water for LRPP's LEQ 12 after an extensive 10-day period of maintenance, refit, and upgrade. Immediately out of the shed, the newly declared port foil could be seen and offered perhaps a distinct clue as to the design direction that the Italians are pursuing. That's why I said cheekily in the show notes at the top, are there foils up, down, or otherwise? Have a look.
We're here with Orazio Carabelli, design coordinator and chief engineer here at Luna Rossa.
Horacio, beautiful sea breeze today. Can you break us the day and how did it go?
Yeah, I think it was a fantastic day. You know, at the beginning it was a bit of mistral that then changed to a sea breeze, so it was a perfect condition for us. We have been 10 days in the shed doing some mods, and so it was great to be back. I mean, a very big effort from the short team and all the technical people involved in the team. So I would like to congratulate all these days and hard work and be able to come in the first day to all the roundings and all the tests that we were looking for. So it was really happy and very positive day for us.
Congrats, yes. We saw a new port side wing, of course, and yeah, can you talk us through, for example, an optimization process? How long does it take to identify a candidate wing which could work out for you guys?
Yeah, it's not an easy answer to give you back now, but it's a long process. I mean, the design of these wings, not only from the hydro point of view, but from the manufacturing point of view, it's pretty long. So it has been, this month we have worked pretty hard from the engineering point of view and putting things together. And today was more a commissioning day for it, so we have a lot to learn about it for the next weeks. So pretty important now. It's coming along the last card that we have to play on it. So, but pretty happy, you know. Today I think was very efficient, and we got all the numbers and expectations that we had. We had all the engineers on board also taking a look at it. So pretty happy overall. Yeah.
Do you use a VPP-based foil design, or do you optimize, for example, only for straight line, maneuvers, takeoff? How, in percentages, how hard is it to it?
I mean, it's a full package of software that we have now. It's not only VPP, you know, it's CFD involved, and all the systems is pretty complex now, and all these boats now. So controlling the foil, it's also a big part of it. So it's a lot of things that we go through and loops to get to the final candidate and get ready and put it in the water. So it's a long time of the whole process.
So would you say your preferred one was the flat one and not the anhydrous one? Will we see the anhydrous back again, or probably rather not?
This is a surprise for you that you will have in the following month. So I leave it there just for you to have a bit of an imagination on what's going to come. Sì, va bene, è stata una giornata fantastica oggi con il Sea Breeze. Veramente abbiamo messo un nuovo wing in acqua che per noi è un milestone, no? Molto importante, no? Dal punto di vista di progettazione e anche di costruzione, no? Siamo tutti abbastanza contenti e positivi con il risultato di oggi e molto apprensivo per il futuro. Le prossime 2 o 3 settimane saranno abbastanza importanti per noi per sviluppare e andare avanti con il prossimo win che verrà in qualche mese.
Grazie, Horacio.
Bene. Grazie e buon Pasqua per tutti.
Well, that's the latest from LRPP. Did you like that video?
Yes, and they do that with such style.
They do. It's a class group. I hope they do well. Graham Sweeney is saying the Pulaski wing foil is the way to go. What's that? Is that the double? What's the Pulaski foil wing, Graham Sweeney? Other than the speed, what is there to this? At the end they dragged out of them, Bill, the little comment about their wings. They, you know, as Stingray, somebody can explain it better than I, but they now have flat foils, and you've got anhedral foils that are tipped up. Is that anhedral, guys? And then you got dihedral when the foils are tipped down a little bit, and then indeed you've got these, I can't do it with my hands, but these W foils that we're seeing on, who's that, on the Brits. So we shall see. Funny how much more animated he got when he started speaking in Italian. Well, Italians like to speak with their hands.
And enough so that you could understood a lot of.
Yeah, you can understand better when they're speaking with their hands, right?
Well, and also I understood a lot of that Italian, which I don't speak Italian.
The 75s are going to be insanely high tech. I can't wait. This is the America's Cup just the way it should be, Steve Gruber's saying. Ineos, yeah, the Brits, John Emmons, has the W foil. They tried it last time, not without a lot of success. We'll talk about the new foil in the video, but they do not show it. Yeah, they didn't show it in that particular video, Ed, but you could see it sort of in the distance if you.
They said used a word something like quadrahedra.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll get a we'll get a real foil design expert on here sometime sooner or later and have a go. The LR program, Stingray agrees with you, just oozes class. Rick Banderow seems to be flying lower, which logically would reduce the damage if they stuff it or fly up and then stuff it. Yeah, and John Emmett saying we saw Ineos nearly every day in Palma. Yeah, what Mossy Sales, Tom Morris, Steve Gruber. Maybe we get Tom on here. He's he's a keen observer of the passing scene, so it's been good to have him on. And you see on here, Julie, they've got the lyrics: "Husbands and wives, little bitty children lost their lives. It was sad
when
the great ship went down to the bottom. It was sad. It was sad." Okay, 37th America's Cup continues with this video. Bravo Zulu.
My mission is a really simple one. It's just to be the fastest human on the planet, powered by the wind.
There's always going to be risks when you're trying to break world records.
He's high, go. I think the thing that scares me the most is not hurting myself, it's just failing.
And that is the trailer, 30-second trailer for the documentary that is coming out called, as you can see here, Land of Speed.
Yeah.
And it's being released today, I believe. I haven't seen it, but they sent me the trailer yesterday, and it looks pretty interesting.
It does.
I still think I've gone from being not too cold and not too enthused about that project to I think they've learned a lot. I think they've probably got some things that are applicable to the AC that at first at least didn't meet my eye. So we shall see. I'm so looking forward to the full documentary on this land speed record, which I guess now has been certified. Is that right, Stingray? I believe it has been. So that's cool. That's the America's Cup news as I know it. There's some other spy videos, recon videos, but frankly, how many of those can you watch before they get a bit repetitive? It's Julia. It is 14:18, so it's here in the afternoon on Tuesday afternoon in San Francisco, counting down to about an hour and a half for today's show. So maybe we get to the last leg. I got a couple different things, local things on the last leg, just to remind local sailors and everybody else. These are international-esque events. I don't normally cover local regattas, but do you recognize that pier, Julia? I'll give you a hint. That is Newport Beach.
I was going to say, yeah.
There are two piers. There's the Newport Pier and the Balboa Pier, and that indeed is the Balboa Pier. That's the starting line for the Ensenada race, which has been going on. This will be the 75th Ensenada race starting the end of this month on the 28th. The entries are still open. They asked me to just make this pronouncement that they are still open. The Newport to Ensenada Yacht Race is an annual 125 nautical mile international yacht race. I've sailed in this I don't know how many times. It's a real hoot. It's a great race, overnight race. From Friday afternoon in Newport down to Ensenada, just, 60, 70 miles, if that, into Mexico. First run in 1948, sailors gather each spring in Newport Beach, California to participate in one of the West Coast premier regattas. Newport to Ensenada, the N2E, is a race to the city, of course, of Ensenada in Baja, California. And the entries close at 1700 at 5 o'clock on the 13th, so in 2 days' time on Thursday, if you're still interested. And, a lot of people are worried a little bit about the security in Mexico, the whole back and forth. But don't take my word for it, but I think the security in Ensenada, they love it. They thrive. I mean, they survive on tourism and this race and cruise ships and this type of stuff. So I don't think there's has never been much of a problem, knock on wood. Likewise, further down in Cabo and in your favorite place.
Puerto Vallarta.
PV.
In
Puerto Vallarta. Party at Papa's and Beer. Yep. Graham Sweeney. Great fun race. We sailed 12 USA 18. Newsboy, then more recently Eastern Ed Worley has said. Yeah, terrific race. I encourage anybody who's on the fence to, give it a go. Even if you do, even as some people do, is do turn and burn. Sail down.
Yeah.
Cross to the finish line, which is right off the hotel. You can drop a couple people off that want to go in and party and carry on, and the boat can turn around and go back up to San Diego or to Newport Beach or to LA, wherever you're going.
Yeah.
It used to be.
It's a notoriously fun race.
It is indeed, and I don't know if it still is, but it used to be the largest international yacht race, and now I think you'd have to give that to maybe now that the Fastnet race finishes in Cherbourg in France. Maybe that's the largest international yacht race. I don't know.
I don't know.
But, Sydney Hobart's a big race, but it starts in Australia. Some people would say it finishes in another country, but Hobart, Tasmania is not another country. It's the same country. So it is, go for it. Thanks, Jang Songmeister. We'll start calling Jang. Hey, Jang, how are you? John Songmeister, thank you, FOSI, for that. Also, Julie, I don't know if you saw this in your email this morning, but St. Francis announced this morning, and I think this will be big. These double-handed mixed gender double-handed races are really catching on fire. They talked about the Olympics, of course, but it was too early for that. But St. Francis just issued the NOR for this inaugural offshore mixed doubles race scheduled for the end of July and open to double-handed crews, of course, of mixed gender. I wonder if somebody's going to show up. Could I inject politics into this?
Never mind.
Can I inject politics? What if somebody shows up and says, well,
I'm mixed gender.
No, I think I'm a woman, or I am a woman.
It's mixed.
Some big, strong guy,
It's mixed gender.
I don't know. Does that make us a mixed gender boat?
Sounds like
a guy, and if a guy, and of course I'm so weak it wouldn't matter, but some young fit guy.
Yeah, I don't know, but
okay, let's don't inject politics.
This group has done a really good job of the match racing, and
it's not match racing. It is this doubles-handed racing. You mean?
Right.
Yes, exactly. Because you're right, and as they say, we're pleased. Quote from Dave McEwen, who's an offshore sailor and vice chair of the St. Francis Yacht Club's Executive Race Committee. Double-handed racing is extremely popular on San Francisco Bay. Hence, I think your comment, Julia. Look at the success of the 3-bridge fiasco, and adding an offshore element will take this format to a new level locally. So these things in Annapolis, in the UK, the double-handed division in the China Sea race, in the Sydney Hobart race, and so on and so forth. So it's happening now here in San Francisco Bay. The race committee intends to conduct a single distance race of approximately 24 hours, and they'll set the course depending upon the conditions in a sailing area stretching across the bay and out to the approaches to the Gulf of Farallones. I doubt they'll go around the Farallones, but who knows, they might. Boats eligible to enter, including monohulls with a minimum of 23.9 LOA and multi-hulls with a minimum of 23.9 LOA, and an ORC double-handed or an ORC. They got to have a certificate, of course. So I think this is cool. Bring that to you here on the last leg of today's show number 608. Thank you for tuning in. And that pretty well wraps it up. The finish line, this photo courtesy of Bill Wingrove. We like this a lot, and we only have 2 of these today, Julia. Only 2. You'll like both.
Okay, I'm ready.
Only one is marginal. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. You ready? No, they're clean. Now, I don't know where I found this. I don't know who sent this to me, or if I found it on I don't know. But to all of our Aussie friends, Alistair, I hope you're feeling better. Alistair's got COVID again, but he told me he tested negative over the weekend, so I think he's feeling better. And Jody and anybody else in Oz, I think your child is dead. That's funny, isn't it?
It is.
It's clean.
It is.
Isn't it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Gordon Smith, haha, brilliant. And then finally, money may not buy happiness, but it certainly improves the quality of your misery. Who else would send that? But it looks like they're having fun. That's the way to go in life. That's Ted Ryman improving the quality of his misery.
Yeah.
The Russian women were always more male than female in women's sport. Yeah, to say nothing of the East Germans, Julie Ahrens. That's funny. Don Lunabos like that. I'm sorry, but why did he ask the kangaroo about his child? I'm still laughing about the genius of the Thai food near me. That was a good one. That was a good one. Julia, you didn't get that right away until we had to explain that. Well, I didn't get it right away either when I first saw that one. Julia, you're a witness.
Yes. We've learned how important your liking, following, and sharing is. And if you don't know how that works, you might want to just check where your sharing goes. You'll be amazed.
And you know what? Google and YouTube have changed apparently the algorithm.
Yeah.
And subscribing, how many subscribers you have to your channel is apparently, we still appreciate it, but it's not that big a deal. It's the likes, it's the comments, it's the sharing.
Yeah.
That is really important, not only on Facebook, but also now on YouTube, or so I read here a couple days ago.
Yeah, the interaction.
Yeah, and so you can subscribe on YouTube. John Emmett is saying, thank you, genteel poverty. James Bland. We also remind you, as we always do at this time, that your comments are welcome too, even if you're watching this in replay. We appreciate the support we get via Patreon. Become a patron. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. This is viewer-supported media. We're the only live sailing show. In fact, one of the few sailing video shows that is bi-weekly, twice a week, show number 608. And we do it for you, the FOSI, and anybody else who comes in lurking and appreciates a little bit of good fun. Some mostly good humor, Julia. Some of our humor is a little off base.
Yes.
And we're not asking anybody what their pronouns are, Fritz Mueller. She asked about his child pronouns. No, we won't. We'll keep it clean. Thank you to everybody for your contributions to this show. Audio, visual, images, and so on. And it's a lot. We get a lot of stuff. And I haven't said this in a while, but the FOSI, those of you who send in links, send in jokes, send in, hey, have you seen this YouTube link?
Yeah.
Even if you send it 15 minutes before the show, I won't get it in the show because we're pretty flat out from 7 in the morning until we go live at 1 our time in the afternoons. But if I can't use it today, if it's evergreen, we'll use it on Friday or next week as well. So thanks to all of you who do send in things. Julia, last comments? Anything?
No, we appreciate all the back and forth. Makes
You
it
can
more
say
fun.
it. Sail fast. Say it. It's on your
Sail
screen.
fast, sail safe, and have fun most of all.
Indeed. See you on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week. In the meantime, ciao. For now.